going to be very dependent on the people you employ. So they have to be kept motivated. They are the engine behind your business. So we've looked very carefully at what you have been doing, what you are currently doing to support your own staff complement. And then we've also looked at your internal structures and your leadership teams and how you've organized yourselves. We've been very interested in how you've solved problems along the way, where you might have encountered some issue that has been a stumbling block, but you've managed to find a way around that and solve the problems. So it's on the basis of a lot of things here that you've been judged. And all of you who have been shortlisted have come up shining in all these fields. Maybe you shone more in some than in others, but you've stood out from the crowd. And that's an incredible achievement. And I'm the first one to bow down to your capabilities and your success. So thank you for what you've done for South Africa and what you're going to be doing for South Africa going forward, I hope. And I think I know, especially because we have here not just big companies that have had a lot of resources at their disposal. We've had medium-sized companies, small companies, female-owned companies, young entrepreneurial companies. Those are the people that we are acknowledging tonight with our awards system. So we're looking long-term here. And this is, in fact, the inaugural awards event for the Exporter of the Year under AGOA to the United States. We intend to make it bigger and better every year, and we hope that we will have all the support from everyone involved here in doing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Rose, for the clarification of how these awards have come about. I must say it must have been a very challenging year for all the entrants, considering COVID-19 and all the restrictions that we had. And it's a big achievement for those companies to even be here and be rewarded, because nobody ever anticipated what was going to happen in these past 2 years, and here they are, you know. Anywho, without any waste of time, we have messages that have been recorded by some of our guests who are unable to attend today. So we'll start with Jim Foley, the director of the Turner Center for Entrepreneurship from Bradley University. We can all look at this.
Hello, I'm so glad to join the 2021 South Africa Annual Exporter Awards event. Joining you from the United States, the place that is celebrating your export destination. I wish I could be with you in person. That's my only regret. I so admire your country. I've had a chance to visit, and it's a wonderful place. You have an amazing history. You're hardworking. Challenges, yes, so do we. And it's also home to one of my most favorite people in the world, Rose Blatch with Itrisa, who I'm proud to be able to call a colleague and a friend. So I guess we'll have to take a rain date, and I hope that one day we can be together in person. I want to thank the Southern Africa Trade and Investment Hub, USAID, and Itrisa for organizing and supporting this important event. But most of all, I want to talk to the winners and all the nominees, because I'm so proud of what you've done. You took the risk, and the risk has paid off, and others have now recognized what you have achieved. Plus, you're the example of what I try and tell small and large businesses all the time, and that is you can't just fall into international business. You can't let it happen to you. You need to proactively choose markets and partners. And I am the poster boy for not doing that. So since it's just us here in this small group and it's not being recorded, let me in on a little secret. I'll tell you a story. I actually shouldn't even be speaking with you today if it wasn't for a very interesting event that happened in my life. I was working for an export management company. I was in tech support, and I took the computer to a trade show in Germany, along with a European sales manager. When we returned from the trip, it came out that the sales manager, who I just spent 10 days with, had actually cheated on his travel expenses. So the vice president, his boss, took me aside and said, "Did you know that the European sales manager was cheating on his expenses?" Well, of course, I was taken back because I was quite young. And he said, "We fired him this morning, made him redundant." And of course, I was taken back because this was like my second job out of university. And it was sort of scared me. And they said, "You know, I think you'd be good in sales and marketing. Why don't you take the European sales job?" And I said, "No, I'm a technical support person. I don't think I'll be good in sales and marketing." And they said, "No, consider it. I think you'd enjoy it." And I said, "I don't know." And then they said, "If you take the job, we're sending you back to Germany in 6 weeks." Okay, I'll take the job. It's absolutely a true story. And funny enough, I told that story in the foreword of my book, The Global Entrepreneur, and my editor said I had to take it out because she said, "Do you mean the only reason you're writing this book is because the boss that you were working with cheated on his travel expenses?" I said, "That's true, because I then took this job in sales and marketing, and that led to many, many years of great international sales and marketing all around the world." And she goes, "Well, just don't say that he was fired. Say that he took another job." So that's what I said in the book. But the story is real. If it wasn't for that odd happening, I would never have found international trade. And it's been an incredibly rewarding career. And now I get to give back because I both teach classes, I've written some books, and I get to work with companies helping them succeed in the international marketplace. So I am so proud of you, all of you, as I say, the winners and the nominees, because you took that risk. And I know selling to the United States is not easy. We always think we're right. We're very picky. We want high quality and low prices. I know we do like to have fun, and so do you. So we have that in common. So that's maybe part of your reward. But you know, you did it. You did it. And you should be very proud of that. And when I looked at some of the information about the award nominees and winners, I saw some common themes that you should be both proud of, but also learn from others. The use of innovation, the use of technology, that you were proactive, that you developed relationships. I like that I saw women in leadership. I have 5 sisters, so I know the importance of empowering women. And to see that in some of the nominees was very impactful for me as well. You were successful in a highly competitive market. The United States is not only competitive, it's almost like 50 different markets because one state is very different from another state. You can't just assume that because you're successful here in Illinois, that you're going to be successful in Texas or in Florida or in California. You leverage social media. That is so important and a very effective way of expanding international trade. And you're creating jobs for South Africa. That is awesome. When I saw some of the job growth, those numbers, that's why we're here, right? Especially those of us in trade assistance. We want to see companies grow from that. And you know what else? Now you're learning that when you're successful, when you start getting that success, some things start happening to your company. Number one, you're going to be more competitive in your home market. So companies that engage in international trade are more competitive, period, full stop. Because you see new competitors you didn't see in your home market in South Africa, you learned how to adjust and be successful. Do you know that research here shows that companies that are engaged internationally, on average, pay higher wages and retain employees longer? But equally important, and this is important during the health pandemic, companies that engage internationally have reduced their risks because you've diversified your market base. The United States is rebounding quite quickly from COVID, for example. So therefore, as other markets don't recover as quickly, you can still rely on some of those sales to the United States. So again, congrats, because to see these success factors in the nominations and the winners was really rewarding for me to see that. But I thought I need to give you a few little tips here while we're having this conversation together. These are just a few things that I want to mention that you might want to think about and you have thought about. One that I'm very passionate about is using data to make better decisions, especially about the markets you enter. Now you've already succeeded in states. You want to keep focusing, of course, in the United States. But by looking at trade data, and through partners such as ITRISA, you can help identify this data. You can then see other trends that might show you other markets where you could expand to as well. Certainly, for example, if you're successful here in the United States, you should be successful in, for example, Canada. So use data so that you are in the role of choosing markets, not that markets choose you. When you choose markets, you then also get to choose the partners. And that's the second big decision. You know, it's where do you go, how do you enter, and who do you work with? And who you work with can make the biggest difference in whether you're successful. Now, staying with who do you work with, nurture your international partners. Those distributors or agents or companies that you're working with here in the United States, always have great communication with them. When you're able, travel and visit with them. While you're not able, have Zoom calls. Try and increase the amount of almost personal time that you have. You know, we really do think of our partners internationally as family, as you do. And so we want to get to know the companies we're doing business with. So nurture those relationships. As you grow, think about one employee in another market. Think about your sales are getting to the point to where you could have an employee, a salesperson here in the United States. An example for me is once I was successful in Europe, I said to my boss, I want to live in London. So I moved to London, which meant I no longer had to travel from California every month or so, which took a lot of time. And that way I was able to spend much more time with my distributors just by my living in the market. And it wasn't very expensive. I just got my same pay that I was getting back in California. Another tip, your export journey should not be alone. And fortunately, you know that in two ways. You're meeting resource partners that will help you on that journey, help teach you best practices. You're also meeting others who are doing it with you. Both everyone in the room and those choosing virtually, reach out, get to know them because they've been through the same journey as you have. And my last tip is find a mentor and then be a mentor. You know, I wouldn't have made it in Europe had I not found some really kind people who took me under their wing and said, I need to give you a little bit of advice. You Americans, for example, think all of Scandinavia is one country. But really, Scandinavia is 4 different countries. So don't appoint one distributor for all of Scandinavia. That's a typical mistake Americans make. That's just one tip I know I learned from mentors that I had. From pricing to marketing to how to hold international sales meetings. These are all things I learned from my mentors. And then, of course, I needed to give back. And I started mentoring other people as well. The last message I have for you is that now you know the secret. And the secret is that when you do international trade, it is so much more rewarding than strictly domestic sales. I think back to the first big international contract that I signed. I was so proud of myself. I negotiated it with a German distributor. And just hearing the different languages, negotiating a different culture, I went to bed that night thinking, I want more of this. This is incredible. It's so energizing. In fact, before I moved to London, the Latin American sales manager took me aside and said, I want to tell you something, Jim. After Hong Kong, and Rio and Cape Town, Cleveland and Cincinnati will never be the same again. And I'm like, wait a second. What are you beating up on these Midwest US cities for, Cleveland and Cincinnati? And I didn't know at the time what he meant. I thought he meant that, you know, the hotels and the travel would be so exciting. That's not what he meant. What he meant was, once you get a taste of that success in international, you don't want to go back. Think about it. Are you going to go work for a company now that doesn't do anything in international? Are you not going to build on the success that you already have? Don't you feel it? Don't you see how amazing this can be? How much stronger you are as a company? That's why all of you deserve this recognition, because now you understand that part of it. So again, my congratulations. I wish I could be with you, but fortunately I have a strong ambassador through my friend Rose to be with you instead of me. Thank you so much for allowing me to make some remarks. If you want to find me, I'm in LinkedIn, and I just mentioned that you were at this event, so that way I know that we have that link. Again, thank you so much. Congratulations, and I hope we see each other soon. Take care.
Wow, what a touching speech. There's so much I took away from that. And one of the things was that in order to grow, you need to help other people below you grow. If he wasn't there at the right time, are we gonna cut that off, that part, that secret part? So we just keep it for us. But that it's just like if he wasn't there, he wouldn't have been the person he is now. And now he's able to mentor other people, and that's just how the journey in life goes, right? At this moment, we're going to play a message from Paul Fenter, who is the co-founder and CEO of OntDeck. You can just watch the screen.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak at this event, and I want to start by honoring each one of you today. We've had the privilege to work with some of you, and through this award process, we have also come to learn about more remarkable South African companies. I'm speaking to you from South Lake in Texas. Our business is in the business of making South African companies win in North America. From our vantage point, South Africa is an increasingly important part of global supply. Our country's unique blend of people, circumstances, and resources makes South Africa a powerful international partner. And you and your teams are leading the charge. The trend that we are observing suggests a very bright future for South African exporters. International trade is complex, and launching into biggest markets like the United States is not easy, but it certainly is worth it. Beyond your personal success, you're also blazing the trail for others to follow, and you are creating jobs that impact communities. We honor your pioneering spirit. I would like to share a few things that our team and OntDeck have learned on how to succeed in the United States. This is from our leadership team to yours. Firstly, when starting out on your US expansion, start small, but do not confuse starting small with trying to do things half-heartedly. Do your research, plan well, craft a niche, and go after your spot in the market in a deliberate way. Ensure that all aspects of your business operations, like sales, marketing, order management, and warehousing, are in sync with one another. It really does take an holistic approach. Secondly, keep your value chain as simple as possible. The fewer connections between you and your customer, the higher the probability of sustainable success. Many markets allow for intermediaries to take your product to market. However, the US is arguably the most competitive market in the world. The effect of that is that the market is substantial, but your competition probably also thinks so. Too many middlemen in your supply chain will ultimately increase your shelf price and jeopardize your competitiveness. Thirdly, plan for a sustained presence. We see companies taking a short-term approach to see if they can gain traction. this rarely works. The US buyer wants suppliers that are worth betting on and that will stick around. And lastly, and probably most importantly, build trust relationships. Remember, we are all in the human-to-human business. It takes time to develop trust, and that is why sustainable presence and personal connections are important. Connect with clients and partners, but also connect with investors sooner than later. Strategic investors can help bring additional relationships and insight that may be critical to your business. Plan to take people along with you on your journey towards success. I look forward to seeing each one of you build on your success and flourish. May God bless you and our beloved South Africa.
Thank you. That was Paul Venter. Right now, we're going to have a message from Daniel Kutze, who's the country manager of EcoSet South Africa.
Firstly, congratulations to everyone participating in this event. It's been a really tough year, I know, for businesses, for export, for trading in general, and you guys not only survived, you thrived. So congratulations for that. I've got a lot of respect for each and every one of you. So I work in the sustainability sector, and we do third-party certification, whether it's organic, fair trade, or cosmetic certification. And I know that there's quite a few participants in this event that also participate in this specific sector. And the good news is that the sector is really growing at a really quick pace. It's expanding, and it's not only on a local scale, it's really on a global scale. There's a younger generation now that we find that's asking questions about, you know, how we've been doing things in the past, and they want to know, you know, how do we ensure healthy soil in the future? How do we ensure healthy products in the future? And us as EcoSet, as a company, we really strive to act for a sustainable world, and ethical and sustainable trading is really at the backbone of that. The growth in this sector has opened up so many possibilities in trade, and specifically focusing on trade from Southern Africa to the US, looking at organic trade from EcoSet clients. This has grown in the last 12 months. It's grown by more than 35%, which is massive. Looking at specific products, I think there's a big focus also on indigenous products. So rooibos, no surprises there, being the main product at about 37% of exports. Baobab products, which is about 26% of the total exports from our clients to the US. And then other indigenous products also include honeybush, devil's claw, and then also some non-indigenous products, that's wine and essential oils. So there's a wide range of products that's being traded, and I think today we distinguish our product more than ever. And I think it's really important to always be on the lookout for new opportunities and new ways to be able to do this, and also to engage with a new generation of consumer. And according to me, I know South Africa has got a lot of challenges, but I strongly feel that with all of these challenges, there's really equal opportunity as well.
Thank you for that. And our last speech will be from Trudy Hatzenberg, who is the Executive Director of Trelec.
The Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which has been in force since 2000 already, covers a very broad range of products that enjoy duty-free access to the US market from a range of eligible African countries. It covers agriculture, industry, food processed products. Very importantly, from a South African perspective, of course, the automotive sector and all the products from motor vehicles and various components are eligible for duty-free access. Very important also, not only for South Africa, but for many African countries, has been the clothing and textile industry. And in fact, for a country like Lesotho, an entire industry, indeed a value chain, the clothing textile value chain has developed as a result of the preferences under AGOA. So it has attracted foreign direct investment, initially from Taiwan and then more recently from China and other sources of investment, including also from South Africa, to expand textile production and in particular garment production, destined very much for the US market. But I want to tell you a little bit about a rather interesting case. South Africa's wine exports are eligible for duty-free access to the US. But we haven't really taken, I would say, enough advantage of that opportunity. But there was a development a couple of years ago, quite unexpectedly, that gave us a particular advantage when it comes to our wine exports. And it had nothing to do with the wine industry. In fact, it's related to the civil aviation industry. Now, the global civil aviation industry is dominated by Boeing and Airbus. Boeing, the US firm, Airbus, a French firm. But that French firm is linked to a number of components, suppliers, and other nodes within the supply chain from other EU countries. So it really is a competition between the EU and the US. Now, for some years already, both sides, the US and the EU, have been alleging that the other party has been subsidizing its industry. And eventually, both sides took disputes to the World Trade Organization Dispute Settlement Understanding. These cases went on for some years, and eventually the outcomes were favorable to both sides, so both won. The result is that both parties, both the EU and the US, could impose countervailing measures on imports from the other party. So, for example, the US could select a list of products not related to civil aviation only, and they could levy duties or increase the duties on those products coming from the EU. And that's exactly what both parties did. And what the US did was to select a number of products, and these included wine. So they raised duties by 25% on wine imports from the European Union destination countries. Those included, for example, France, Italy, the United Kingdom, Germany. And it meant, therefore, that suppliers of wine to the US market from other sources, which were not impacted by those countervailing duties, would have instantly a price advantage. South Africa very much included in that, of course. So 25% price premium certainly gives our wine exporters an edge in that market. So what we see is, since those duties have been implemented about 18 months, 2 years ago, we see our wine exports increasing very, very nicely. Now, of course, the wine exports could be growing for other reasons as well. But very importantly, the price at the end of the day makes a difference. And keep in mind, of course, that South Africa's wine getting better and better known in export destinations, and certainly well known as among the best in the new world wine producers. So wine, not a generic product, and that's really important to keep in mind. There are many, many factors that influence consumer preferences for particular particular source of wine or particular wines. But nonetheless, this totally unrelated development in the WTO dispute settlement system actually had an impact which really relates to the preferences that we already enjoy under AGOA, but actually enhances them. And so there are distinct opportunities for our wine exporters. Oh, it's so good to see that among the applicants for the Exporter of the Year award this year, there are a number of stellar wine exporters doing exceptionally well in the US market. So wish them all the best. But it means that we should be looking out for these kind of developments in the international trade scene to take a look at new opportunities or enhanced opportunities, sometimes from rather unexpected quarters.
I agree with her. We should definitely be looking out for the wine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the moment we've all been waiting for, I'm sure we're wondering, who are the winners? Who are this year's AGOA 2021 winners? Are we ready? Are we ready? I can't feel the excitement. Should we still come and give us a drum roll? All right, for the moment we've all been waiting for, this is the video with all our winners. Congratulations in advance.
The business started in 2016. It was a discussion between myself and my business partner, Nick Drab, old school friends. We were discussing the fact that South Africans didn't really look representative in the 2016 Rio Games. The one thing that we sort of settled on was that we could have been wearing falscreen as an apparel item for the Olympians. And that's how the business started. You know, we want to be the champion brand for South Africa, where we celebrate everything that is great about South Africa. We've dubbed a line called South Africanness, which relates to all the great characteristics of South Africans, and that's what our brand stands for: is to export that sort of excellence.
So we initially started off with just one range. We called it our heritage range. It's a traditional falscreen. And over time, as our exports grew, we had to increase our baskets to about 10 different ranges. One of the key things for falscreen is that we prefer to support collaborations over competition. We are huge fans of all other companies and brands that manufacture in South Africa. So we have reached out to many of them and launched collaboration products in order to stimulate, the economy, just like share the spotlight, with other companies. We've partnered with Sorai, KP Peterson's anti-poaching wildlife conservation, and we manufactured the shoe that we sell globally, and 50% of all proceeds goes towards the anti-poaching unit and keeping it intact.
Our strategy when it came to exporting out of South Africa was, one, accelerated, but also a product of the pandemic. And in a short space of time, from February last year, we moved from being in 4 countries globally to 30 countries as we sit today. That expansion has been as a result of a really smart supply chain and distribution management team headed up by Dricky. And it has also been largely due to the fact that we tell really interesting stories locally and then can distribute and partner with great South Africans all around the world. The most important factors in our business are our culture and our supply chain. Our culture in terms of leadership is that we have a top-down inverted model where the leadership and the executive team supports the team above them. We're a family business and we try to make sure that our staff are happy. We believe that you'll get the most out of staff when they want to be here and that you give them the opportunity to be flexible to look after their families. Our culture is one of absolute transparency. We are focused and we do intend to be a global brand, and with that comes a level of commitment that is required
Two Green Lemons is our holding company, and it started because we wanted to put a premium tonic water into the South African market. We got so excited about bringing something to the table that is unique and South African and that we are doing ourselves. So Barkin & Koen was born using branding company to help us with the brand, using a content company to help us formulate our home recipe into something commercial. And the next moment, we're bottling and our company is born.
The Indian tonic started its way, and then after that, it migrated to the light tonic water and through three other variants, which is also hibiscus, the marula, and the honeybush tonic water. And from there on, we created another 4 mixer products, which is a raspberry, a ginger ale, a soda water, and also a Cape lemon. From there, we went on to design and create a product called John Ross Virgin Distilled Botanicals, which is a non-alcoholic spirits which can be blended with any of our mixers and with any other mixer out there. Most of the export business we acquired up until now is all companies that approached us as a company. So from the get-go, when we started off Barkin & Koen in 2016, the first call we received was from a company out of Germany saying, we'd like to import your product. And literally from there on, people started contacting us worldwide. I'm very proud of the fact that this company is women-owned, first and foremost, with my business partner being the majority shareholder in the company. We very much focus on also creating jobs when it comes to women. Workplace should be a very culturally, I think, diverse place to be.
Each and every single new export client that we gain gives us an enormous amount of pleasure.
The company was established back in the 93s. It was established by the owner and CEO currently and founder, Mr. Tiens Kuhn. He was an exchange student going to Europe and there found a few options, found a bit of this products in the market, and he started doing some engineering on this matter. And yeah, currently the business is growing. It's 98% exporter, and we export over 50 countries, selling about 19 million meters of our products annually. We started off with our flagship product, the poultry feeder chain and the August spiral. The August spiral and the chains are used in conveying systems in the poultry and the pig industry, supporting feed into poultry and pig houses for growth. And then we move on to obviously producing our own flattened wire. And those products also being exported to other producers in the same industry. And hence we control that from a quality perspective. Then we are adding to these products continuously. A lot of ranges, drive units, corner units, and we're looking in the future having this chain as additional product, adding to the feeding equipment and the industry. Yeah, but the future looks exciting. You know, moving into markets that we reach over 50 countries. I think the USA market is just about starting to you know, broaden our scope. You know, looking into more plant establishment in the US, having more warehouses due to the size of the continent, and obviously distributing to that countries. And that's the excitement, you know. Besides employment, besides that is also having the good feel about getting into a South African community that we can create jobs. where we can add value to the broader and the bigger picture of South Africa's needs as well. And yeah, it's good.
Hi, I'm Tracy Folks, founder and co-owner of Nomu Brands. We're incredibly honored to be nominated for the AGOA Female Exporter of the Year. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there for the interview, so Paul Bailey, my partner, stepped in. I'd be lying if I said exporting and manufacturing were a walk in the park. So with initiatives and organizations like USAID and Nutrisa, it is enormously valued and appreciated. The last 2 years have been challenging, with the best attempts, a bit of load shedding thrown in.
Quickly, please.
Products and the right team, but as South Africans, with our dogged determination, can achieve a lot. So thank you
I think we missed it.
And to all the finalists for getting to this point.
This is the last streaming for the South African one. We missed it.
It's today.
Yeah.
Tracy Folks, my wife and partner, we own Nomu Brands, which is a South African independently owned food business located in Cape Town that produces a range of lifestyle products, about 200 of them, that we export to around 24 to 25 countries at the moment, including the US. Nomu produces lifestyle products, which means everything from herb and spice blends that we call rubs. We were the first people in South Africa to produce a rub. Now we do grinders, dippers, liquid concentrated stocks that in Europe would be called fonds. And then more notably, recently, we produced a range of hot chocolates, which again, in South Africa, we were the first to produce a diabetic-friendly, low GI, banting-friendly hot chocolate. That's become our #1 seller. It's called a skinny hot chocolate. It's our #1 seller into America. One great achievement is that we were the first South African company to enter the CL International Food Competition or Design Competition. We won the Grand Prix. After a couple of years in the States, we were also supplying to companies like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, those sorts of stores. And, you know, for us, for a small privately owned concern in Cape Town, we just were kind of tickled with that sort of growth. We didn't think it would happen the way it did. Nomu's primary philosophy is all about breaking through the clutter. So the one simple mantra that we always live by is if you aren't breaking through the clutter, then you're just adding to it. If it weren't for our attention to packaging and presentation, not to mention obviously the quality and the ingredients, it's entirely likely we wouldn't have attracted the attention that we did. Every Nomu product should be built on quality and consistency and accessibility. Many of our staff and our team feel the same way. When we communicate with our customers, no email goes unanswered, no customer complaint goes unacknowledged. Even a negative comment, we will greet it with warmth and openness in a way that we believe is uncommon out there.
Ash 11 started 3 years ago, and really the driving force behind the brand is sustainability in both terms of environmental and social impact. We have a strong focus on the textiles. We work only with 100% natural and biodegradable fabrics. Most of our product is made from a hemp and organic cotton blend. We also work with an amazing fabric called Tencel, which is pretty much known as one of the most sustainable fabrics that there is on the market.
everything has shifted online. And I think in some ways, in terms of the export market, it's working a bit in our favor, because previously, in order to reach the export market, there was expectations of, showing at trade shows in America or in Europe, which obviously carries a huge expense with it. Whereas now buyers are all shifting their buying practices to the online space. So I think the opportunities have grown considerably.
My father and grandfather started the company in 1987, and as of 2022, Jim Green will be 30 years old. The Jim Green product range consists of a variety of options, from our top of the range hiking boots all the way down to our basic everyday chukka boot, or as we call it here, a felly. We've been selling the same styled footwear for 30 years, so there's been no need to change anything with regards to the design of our boots, but rather we have focused on the quality of boot that we are making. We are fine-tuning various aspects in the factory and in the production line so that we can compete on the international stage. We are very excited about the future of Jim Green footwear, and we are looking forward to offering a great value boot to South Africa and now to the rest of the world.
I am the co-founder alongside my mother of a business called One of Each. We're based here in Cape Town, and we manufacture and design luxury leather goods as well as African-inspired fashion apparel. We've been producing luxury items which we've managed to export through the past 7 to 8 years, and it's been an incredible journey. Our products come from a very special place because we really produce them with a lot of love and authenticity. And I think that has been part of the success of our business. We use quite a lot of offcuts of leather, but with the fabrics, we try as much as we can to use embellishments and works of art that is sort of dying out. So we do a lot of embroidery, we do a lot of beading. In 2016, we were approached by the British Museum to actually stock some of our products there. We also supply the George Washington Textile Museum, which I think, was really wonderful to be able to get that opportunity.
Shoo, a big round of, can we please bring them a big round of applause again? Congratulations to all our winners. I believe all these winners, it's well deserved, again, considering the current COVID-19 situation that we find ourselves in. So, ladies and gentlemen, for all our winners, you don't need to worry. You'll be receiving your beautiful, very heavy, stunning trophies. They'll look out for your mailbox. They'll be coming to you as soon as possible. Wow, I must say these are very, very, very nice. Thank you once again, and congratulations to all of them. Can you please give them another round of applause? So today, actually, we do have one of our winners today. We have Ms. Tricky Zonda, who is the COO of Veldskoen Shoes, one of our winners for today. Can she please come on stage to receive her award? All right. Now we are ready. Is everybody ready? Are we ready to find out who the biggest winner of today is? Rather, the biggest winner for this year's awards. But for that, I won't be doing the honors. I'm going to ask Mr. Todd Flower to come and introduce, or rather announce, the winner for the overall winner for today.
I want to test how heavy, yeah. Well, if somebody's taking it home, I'm sorry about your luggage allowance on your flight. So before I make the announcement, I did just want to say, again, thank you to everybody. It's an inspiration to be able to be here and to see all the videos and see all the hard work that goes into this. And I do not doubt the level of hard work over the past couple of years. It's been an incredibly challenging time. If I could just share one personal item, both my father and my brother are business owners, and they are not in the export business. They're home builders in my home state of Missouri, and I have grown up watching the difficulty of trying to make a success in business, and part of the joy of the job that I have now is getting to participate in things like this and try to help people with the support that we have from the U.S. government to succeed. And I'm just inspired by all of the videos that I saw today and all of the efforts, and to be able to succeed during something so challenging is really incredible. So thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. So with that, I have the I guess the Academy Award opportunity now to have the digital envelope presented. And then I believe if the winner is in the room, then we'll have an opportunity for them to make some remarks. Congratulations to the attendees. We're about to shake hands if we, it's a pleasure. Is the time? Oh, there's more.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much to the organizers, United States AID and the International Trade Institute of Southern Africa. Thank you very much for the event. It's a great pleasure for me to stand here and accept these awards. The export of technical systems started in 1993, but my first introduction to the United States was when I just turned 21. I visited the US as a student, third-year engineering student from Stellenbosch University, Georgia Institute of Technology. Did my thesis at part-time with Professor D.W. Alpen. IBM just issued their personal computers then. I was introduced to something very amazing I saw on campus. A line of people would line up against the wall, 10 or so of them, and there's a kind of a window in this wall, and they one by one would step forward, and they type in a code in a keypad, and money would come out of the wall. So that was my introduction to the ATM. Technical Systems started in 93, exporting 98% of our production. The US is an extremely difficult market for us, very competitive, very spoiled market as well. And the recent growth in the past year can be contributed to additional market share we have. We are represented by a wholly owned company, Technical Systems Inc. in Fort Wayne, where we have a warehouse and from where we distribute. And the recent growth is not on price. Close to 10% of our production goes to the US. That is achieved not by price or by any means of a soft currency, but by equipment reliability. We outperform our competitors in the US. The products we manufacture is chain related. It's only as strong as the weakest link. The reliability of our product has enabled us to get more market share in the US. The difficulty to work in the US is overcome by a warehouse and goods service, and we are on top of the game in the United States with our customers. We're looking forward, and I would like to thank you, the organizers, for this wonderful event. Thank you for this honor. And this trophy I will take back home to our 400 employees in Cape Town, and I
honor this trophy to them. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward for the space for next year, and good luck for the event going here forward. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Do you need help with that? Carrying that? You can see he's a strong man because that is very, very heavy. Thank you and congratulations once again, sir. So I'd like to have a special mention to one of our runner-ups who's here today, Miss Roselle Abramson. Can you please raise your hand? Congratulations for being the runner-up for the Top Women's Awards for Faint Heart. Can you just please wave so everybody can see you? Congratulations and thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Another special mention to all of the companies that took their time and participated in this year's competition. We recognize all the efforts and we congratulate you for actually being nominated to be part of these awards. Can you please give them a round of applause? And we hope for the best for next year and all the other years. Thank you. Thank you in that regard. And before we close off, I'd like to ask Ms. Rose Splatch to come and just give us the closing remarks before I tell you what we're going to do after this. Thank you.
Well, I have been feeling very proud of what South African companies have achieved just by watching those videos and also by listening to our speakers who have contributed so much of interest, I think, to today's event. And I would like to thank all of you, but particularly my partners in this, from USAID and from the USAID Southern African Trade and Investment Hub, who have done so much work to make this the success that it has been today, and to help out to recognize and to thank our technical partners in this, Sound Ideas, who are responsible for the smooth running of all these videos and the whole event today. So this has been an incredible tribute, I think, to partnership and how we can, when we work together, we can produce something really good. So thank you very, very much, everybody, for the part you've played in this, and particularly thank you to those companies that have put South Africa on the map, particularly in the US. And we're gonna put you on the map now via social media, via every possible way we can. We're going to make sure that the whole of the country knows what is possible if you put the effort in and the time, and you really have a passion for what you do and what you produce, because that came across very clearly today in these videos. So this kind of brings us more or less to the end of our awards ceremony, but we're hoping you're going to stay for a while and join us with a finger lunch, which we are holding outside here for you as part of our celebration today. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you once again to USAID for choosing ITRISA, the International Trade Institute of Southern Africa. Some people think we're just South Africa. Actually, we spread beyond that. And I'd like to mention that Jim Foley, who spoke from America, one of the earliest speakers, is actually a past president of the International Association of Trade Training Organizations. So he has also a heavy interest in trade development globally. And I think that came across in his very engaging way. So thank you to everybody who's been part of this. And we look forward to seeing you next year at the next 2022 AGOA Exporter of the Year for South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this momentous event that we had this morning. Thank you to all the participants that joined from all over the country and all the other countries that managed to log in today. A special thank you to Anthony Norman and Associates for auditing our results for today. Special congratulations to all the winners for the night. We thank you for continuing to grow the South African economy. We can only hope for the best going forward. And we just hope for more trade, more money, more happiness from everyone. And thank you for joining us and for listening to me. We hope that you enjoyed today's event. Like I said, Ms. Rose, after this, some of us are going to party. We're going to have our little lunch, and Tabiso is going to perform for us. In closing, then you will see how we do things this side of town. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And I'd like, for the last time, to introduce Tabiso Tabete from AfriDrum Entertainment to come and perform our last song. After he performs, I'm just going to ask for a quick picture with all our winners and some other team members. We'll call them after the performance. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
She wants to make a home. She sang, but she fell in love with me from the start. We walk on top of feelings and emotions. We built our lives on promises and devotion. Can you ask God to hold you, my dear? 'Cause I love you so, you so, you sorrow, you don't pretend. 'Cause I just want to kiss you, to feel what you want to hold you.